Hi everyone, today we're here with DePauw's 21st president, Dr. Lori White. She comes to us with over 30 years of experience in student-focused leadership and academic roles. She's been with WashU, Southern Methodist University, USC, San Diego State University, and Stanford before landing here with us in Greencastle. She's also the very first female and first person of color to serve as president for our university. Dr. White, I know that you're entering into the community in difficult times for more reasons than one, but I'm very grateful for the chance to speak with you, albeit virtually, and share your message with the student body. So obviously this semester is going to be different this coming fall for reasons far beyond just having a new president, but still important to set goals and expectations. So I want to know, what goals and expectations do you have going into this semester?
So my goals and expectations are to start this semester, even though we know it's going to be quite different than what everyone has expected, really focusing on the health and wellness of our students, our faculty, and our staff. So that has to be our highest priority as we figure out the best way to deliver and experience a DePauw education in COVID-19. So that's my highest priority. And then second, I want to, whether it's virtually, whether I have the opportunity in appropriately socially distanced way, to hear from members of our community about their hopes and dreams for DePauw as we build upon the next DePauw set of experiences for all of us.
Awesome. So we're witnessing a really big emergence of virtual learning options, with many students seeing their courses pivot entirely to remote or mixed hybrid options of online and in person. What would you say to those students who might view this form of learning as inadequate compared to in-person classes? And is there work being done to ensure that these classes and remote courses do meet the level of excellence that students should expect from a DePauw education?
So we learned a lot from this spring, and in fact, I was on a phone call yesterday with Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dave Byrd, and I asked him that exact question. And what he said to me is we're doing a few things. One is in the spring, students will remember at the very end of spring semester, they received a survey from their faculty members about their experiences with remote learning in the spring. Based on the feedback we received from students, faculty have been using that information to work with one another in a series of professional development workshops this summer, focused on how can they enhance their use of technology, how can they enhance their use of community building remotely, all kinds of ways in which they can improve their teaching, because this year faculty are going to either be teaching some classes entirely remotely, some classes in a hybrid manner, and some classes with students physically here but socially distant. So I'm really confident that based on the feedback we received from students this spring and the awesome work our faculty have been doing this summer, that students are going to experience a much better quality of virtual education than they may have received in the spring.
Well, that's great to hear. It's exciting. So obviously the student body is very excited and hopeful to have you as a leader, especially during these times. But how are you planning to engage with and get to know the student body in the midst of social distancing protocol and some students even not returning to campus?
So connecting with students has always been the absolute favorite part of my job. And that's the reason that I've been in higher education for over 30 years, is the opportunity to help facilitate the hopes and the dreams of each generation of students that I've had the opportunity with whom to work. And so my way of connecting with students in this most unusual environment is I'm going to have to do a lot of things virtually. So on my very first day, I had a virtual lunch with a group of students, and that was a great way for me to begin learning from students about the critical issues of importance to them. And I envision that I'll have the opportunity to do more of those, virtual meetups, virtual lunches, virtual one-on-one meetings with student leaders over the course of this next semester. And then for students who are here on campus, I hope that I have the opportunity to run into them while I'm walking the campus. I will do the best that I can to invite students over to the President's House, again, appropriately socially distant. And then I always tell students, if you see me on campus, I want you to stop me. I want you to introduce yourself. I want to get to know who you are. And then I'm going to give you one of my business cards, and that's good for free lunch on me anytime. It doesn't expire.
Well, you can't turn down a free lunch.
Can't turn down free lunch with the president.
Yes, seriously. All right, so in your welcome address, you emphasized that you believe DePauw will be at its best when we put our values to action. I know you touched on this briefly in the gathering, but with Black Lives Matter movement on the rise, what specific actions do you plan on taking to advance the movement and promote inclusivity at DePauw?
Absolutely. So I've been thinking a lot about this, as you might imagine, and I think it starts with being very clear at the beginning of a student's career here at DePauw, what our expectations are for our students. And so while I haven't yet written my convocation and orientation remarks, I certainly will be focused on not only our values as words, but what they mean for all of us in terms of our expectations with how we interact with one another and how we continue to commit ourselves to actually living those values. So that's certainly top of mind for me. Number two is I've been talking with a lot of the presidents of other liberal arts colleges about ways in which we can work collaboratively to make sure that we are committed to action with respect to the Black Lives Matter movement, with respect to the new federal law or expectation related to international students, with respect to all of the things that are negatively affecting the experiences of students, faculty, and staff that have been historically underrepresented on our campuses and historically not treated equitably in our country. And so we're going to continue those dialogues, and we're hoping that we can develop some sort of formal alliance amongst the liberal arts college presidents so that we can be in intentional dialogue with one another, sharing ideas and strategies about ways in which we might make a difference as presidents on our campuses and in our country. And then number three is I'm trying to think about a way in which I can gather our community together, where I can ask our community to give me some concrete, actionable ideas that we can implement over the next semesters and year related to 5 particular buckets, I will call them: admissions and enrollment, our teaching, our scholarship, student life and the student experience, and then our community writ large, our community on campus, and our interactions with our community in Greencastle. And so we always have lots of wonderful ideas, which are great. I really want folks to come back to me with what they think would be some clear, actionable recommendations that we can implement over the next 12 months.
That's great. I love the idea of involving the community for clear, actionable things.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So what are you most excited about when we get back to campus?
Well, I'm most excited about the opportunity to see all of you, to see all of the DePauw students, and to know why it is that you chose DePauw. Help me understand what your hopes and dreams are for your own educational experience and for the university. Tell me ways in which we can continue to improve your DePauw experience. So that's what I'm most excited about.
And okay, with all of your extensive experience, I have to ask, what is your favorite or most fulfilling part about working in higher education? And then how do you kind of hope to bring that aspect of what you love about it from all your previous universities to here at DePauw?
So what I really love about working in higher education is I always thought I was going to have children. And as life unfolded for me, I don't have any biological children, but I have the children of all of the universities that I've had the opportunity to be a part of. And so the favorite part of my work always is the opportunity to hopefully make a personal connection with a student. As I said, to understand more about each student that I have the opportunity to connect with, understanding more about their hopes and their dreams, and helping to create a campus experience that enables every single student, regardless of their background, regardless of their history, to be able to realize their own hopes and dreams for their college education. And over the years, I keep in touch with almost all of the students that I've met along the way. Many of them call me mom. Many of them send me Mother's Day cards. Hopefully some of you will come and take care of me in my old age. But more than that, It's just really knowing that in one way, shape, or form, either I individually or a program that I implemented or the leadership that I brought to the table at the institution has changed in some meaningful way the life of students on the campus. So that's what I hope I'm able to bring to DePauw from all the other places that I've worked throughout my career.
It's amazing. I think that'll be very exciting for all of us students. All right, so we're going to do a rapid fire get to know you round. I'll just questions at you and you give the answer. All right, so one favorite book.
Favorite book. So I am a voracious reader. And in fact, funny story, when I was a kid, back in the day when we went to the library and got physical books, every summer, my teachers would have a reading contest to see which student would read the most books. And it got to the point where everybody in my class would concede the #1 spot to me because they knew that I was always going to read more books than anyone else. So I always have books on my shelf. I read lots of different books. I think my favorite genre is history, both fiction and nonfiction. So one of my very favorite books is a book called Simple Justice. And it's written about the Supreme Court and their deliberations to get to the Brown versus Board of Education decision and the all of the insider trading, vote trading that had to occur between the justices in order for there to be a unanimous decision for that profoundly important piece of Supreme Court decision or a Supreme Court decision. So that's one of my very favorite books. It's called Simple Justice.
Favorite movie?
Favorite movie. So you'll laugh about this one. So like many families, my family has all kinds of traditions. So each time we gather for a holiday, we watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. So, you know, that movie will never win an Academy Award, but it is so funny. And everybody in my family knows every single joke, every single moment of the movie. And every single time we watch it, we laugh again as if we had watched it for the very first time. So that's a favorite family movie.
Respectable choice. Favorite TV show?
So my favorite TV show is Law and Order Special Victims Unit. So every Saturday, there's a Law and Order SVU marathon. And so every Saturday while I'm doing my housework or I'm paying my bills or I'm doing something else, that's probably what I'm watching. Now, if it's sports season, then I'm going to be watching college football on Saturdays and college basketball in the winter, college football in the fall and college basketball in the winter. But right now, since we don't have any college sports, then I'm probably watching Special Victims Unit.
Nice. The SVU theme tone used to be my ringtone. So.
Oh yeah, good. Okay, so
that's
great. That's great.
Biggest pet peeve.
Negativity. So I'm an optimist. I believe in positivity. I believe that there's no challenge too great that we can't figure out a way to solve it. And so when I don't like negative Nellies or people who are pessimistic or people who just are not hopeful. And so that's probably one of my biggest pet peeves, negativity.
Good one. Favorite food?
Ooh, probably hamburgers.
Good. Favorite song?
Favorite song? So you all have probably figured out, or you will soon, that I love to sing. And I love to sing all kinds of different kinds of songs. But I think my favorite songs are spirituals. And so, you know, the absolute favorite, I think, universal uplift song is Amazing Grace. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. So that's one of my favorites.
Beautiful. I love it. Do you have any hobbies that you picked up during quarantine?
So probably baking banana bread. Me and, you know, a million other people, we go to the store, we buy all these bananas because bananas are comfort food. Bananas don't really last that long, particularly in the summer when it gets hot. So then you've got all of these, you know, black bananas. What do you do with them? You make banana bread, right? So I probably tried every single banana bread recipe there is, you know, white sugar, brown sugar, nuts, no nuts, chocolate chips, all kinds of banana bread. So my husband says he's gained at least 30 pounds from eating all the banana bread that I have baked during quarantine.
That is a classic. Who is your hero and why?
My mother is my hero. My mother raised me and my two sisters to be, I am woman, hear me roar. My mother is an incredible role model. She instilled in me the belief that I could absolutely do anything that I put my mind to. My parents divorced when I was 8, and my dad was always involved in my life. But it was my mom who raised me and my sisters as a single woman. And everything that I am today, I owe to her.
3 words to describe yourself.
So 3 words to describe myself. So one I've already used. I'd say optimistic. The other is, I would say, I'm a connector. I love to get to know people. My contact list is probably, 500 names plus. In fact, when I send out my holiday cards, you don't have to start October 1st so that I can get them all out by the end of December. And then I think the third one is dreamer. I like to think and dream about the possibilities, not only for my own life, but also for DePauw.
Great. What is your favorite place on DePauw's campus?
So my favorite place on DePauw's campus, and I'm sorry I don't know the formal name of the hall, but it is the 2nd floor of East College. What's the name of the hall, 2nd floor of East College?
Meharry Hall?
Yes, Meharry Hall.
Yeah.
So my favorite place on the DePauw campus is Meharry Hall. And the reason is that's where I heard the call that I said, say yes to the offer to be the 21st president of DePauw. When I saw portraits number 1 through 20, and none of them looked like me. And I heard a voice that said, you can change the history of DePauw. It's not about you, Dr. Lori White. It's about what you can represent for future generations. So that is my favorite spot on the DePauw campus.
Last rapid fire, Wabash or DePauw?
Oh, DePauw. Oh, Tigers.
Good answer. Okay, so lastly, just what is one thing that you want DePauw student body to know about you?
The one thing that I want the DePauw student body to know about me is that before I became the president of DePauw, I was a vice president for student affairs. So students will always be first and foremost in my mind as I think about decision making at DePauw and how to make DePauw an even greater institution than it already is.
That's awesome. It's really exciting. Well, Dr. White, thank you so much for taking time to speak with me today. I imagine things have been kind of busy in your world, but we are so excited to get to know you and work with you more. And when it's safe again, I would love to speak with you in person for a real interview at the D3TV studio.
So it's a date. So as soon as we're able to be back on campus, I'm happy to do a live interview in the studio with you. And I look forward to taking you to lunch.
Awesome. I'm so excited. Thank you so much.
Enjoy the rest of your summer. And hey, everybody, go DePauw.